Slavery is defined as involuntary subjection to another or others. It indicates a state of subjection or captivity, often involving burdensome and degrading labor. Forced labor occurs when an individual is forced to work against his or her will under threat of violence or other punishment, with restrictions on their freedom. Public schooling and any other authoritarian school institution is slavery for its students. Students are coerced by the lies, restrictions on their freedom, and constant indoctrination for obedience from birth to perform labor for the master, the teacher, who is the first line in the hierarchy of subordination to the school system. This is not done freely with their informed consent. Students are outright lied to from the beginning that the long-standing system of subjection and demands placed upon them in a system of weeding people out for obedience will prepare them for success after school, which takes place now from birth, race to the top, to the ripe age of 18 years old, a quarter of a person's life. The school is part of the planned system of creating the different cogs in the machine of the economic reality of what is called capitalism. Those who pass only through the basic years will be fashioned as the obedient, submissive, and most of all, stupid tools of exploitation to work in the reality of an economic system of wage slavery. Those who prove their obedience and unquestioned acceptance of the things told to them will be allowed to pass to the higher college years, where they will be allowed some small freedoms so that they might become white-collar working class or managerial working class, being the next step in the food chain. While in the lower grades, students will have all self-determination, all curiosity and natural abilities beaten out of them by the incessant totalitarian system which forbids all personal control. This constant system is designed not to foster deep thinking, but to create an environment of hectic confusion to destroy thoughtful, critical thinking and to extract as much rote labor out of a student as possible. This is called Taylorism. This constant control is what the school refers to as safety for the student mind. Students are kept apart and frightened by outright psychological bullying taught to teachers by other teachers. Atomizing students is the best way to avoid strength in numbers. Thoughts of dissent must be destroyed in its infancy. The legion of publications by the school's technocratic despots are overflowing with the sickly pornographic plans to control and manage every minuscule detail of the students' lives, while of course not even mentioning them as living personal beings, but as objects to be experimented on. Their emotions will be standardized, their beliefs will be standardized, their behavior will be standardized, their thoughts will be standardized, their entire world will be standardized, while these technocratic buffoons have not a fathom of how the mind works, nor can they do anything of real value in the world. The students are absolute slaves to the tyranny of their ignorance. Those teachers are but arrogant sophists, pawns, puppets of an economic elite who created this horror show madhouse and whose interests are the secret engine of the insane merry-go-round which plans to swallow the whole world into its folds. And when they are allowed to enter into circulation, they will not have the competence to swing a hammer, nor the confidence to posit themselves as knowers and doers, but to knowingly and gladly sell themselves to another master called a capitalist. They will never question the world around them, never question injustice, never seek the truth. There is no democracy. Living from paycheck to paycheck, their dreams of working on what they love crushed by their compromised position, first in the school itself and then after they leave. Forced mediocrity under the disguise of smiling education. K-12 has nothing to do with education, and it all ties into the college conspiracy, being without any useful ability, indoctrinated since birth to feel ultra-dependent on the school, Listening to the ad campaign which exploits these weaknesses, students leaving K-12 will feel they have no choice but to enroll in college to be successful. The school again aligns itself with the government. They will back everyone for a loan. The college, in turn, jacking prices sky high so that students, being so naive and unknowledgeable as the school has created, will get themselves into debt slavery, all while the moneyed interests are laughing their way to the bank. Riding on the propaganda which has filled the students' minds. But the revolution is unstoppable. The pressure cooker of society will explode eventually. This I say to the students. You do not owe them anything. Your life and liberty is yours, and you have a right to that property as the God of nature had granted it to you. Your consciousness is this property. You are the knower and the doer. Stand up for yourself and live in the glory of an active rebellion against this tyranny. I do not tell you these things so you may live life without the safety and consolation of your chains, but that you might throw off the chains and pluck the living flower. Let freedom ring.